Well, the leaders of China and Russia have toasted their strong partnership at a state visit in Beijing, less than a week after the US President Donald Trump visited. Here to assist our understanding of the significance of these meetings is former Australian ambassador to Russia, Paul Myler, and he joins me now from Perth. A very good morning to you, Paul. Thanks for your time.
Morning, Catherine.
As the introduction suggested there, this meeting comes hot on the heels of the US President's visit to China. From the surface, the optics looked the same fanfare, the same red carpets, the same amount of pomp and pageantry. But is that where the comparisons end?
Look, yes. I mean, the protocol levels were all pretty similar, equal. I think there are a few key differences. Xi couldn't trust President Trump with a joint press conference. With Putin, he was quite comfortable doing a joint press conference. The level of agreement signed, we've seen 20 agreements signed in the presence of Xi and Putin, with another 20-odd announced. We haven't got a full list of them yet. They'll be relatively meaningless, but Donald Trump would have given anything to be signing 20 agreements, regardless of how meaningless they are. So there's clear differences in the level of confidence they had with Putin staying on the rails, sticking within protocol and not doing anything to embarrass Xi.
How would you characterise the relationship between China and Russia post-meeting?
Well, look, it continues on a trajectory that's been clear for a long time, particularly since Russia started its aggression against Ukraine in 2014. Russia is clearly now the little brother. China is the big brother. It's clear that Russia's economy is almost wholly dependent on China. And even through all the assertions of renewed partnership, I don't know if you need to issue a joint statement on good neighbourliness. It feels to me like you've got some problems with good neighbourliness, and we saw that joint statement reference a whole lot of cross-border facilitation efforts and address Chinese agriculture's presence in the Russian Far East and other problems that continue to hobble that relationship.
So if the ball now is in China's court and how it weighs up and balances its relationship with both Russia and the United States, how is it managing that balancing act? Is it leveraging the best of both worlds?
Well, I think it definitely is. China is of the view that it has, Xi, as a good Marxist-Leninist, is of the view that the US is in terminal decline. Western capitalism is in terminal decline. He was using heavily in both visits this phrase around changes unseen in a century, which is really around the demolition of the US-led global rules-based order and the re-emergence of China. And when he uses it with Donald Trump, direct to Donald Trump's face, it's sort of like a pretty clear assessment, eye to eye, that you are leading a country in decline. When he says it with Putin, my sense is it's a lot more about keeping the pedal to the metal, keep going with disrupting the international order. This is good for both of us. The reality is that China wants stability to a large extent, but it doesn't mind Russia creating instability outside.
You mentioned, Paul, that, up to 20 deals were done. Perhaps they were just for the headlines because the details are yet to emerge. But there was one deal that wasn't done, and that was that gas pipeline. How big a deal is that not going ahead?
So this is really interesting, and the Siberia 2 pipeline has been on the horizon for a long time, and the Chinese have been negotiating pretty hard. They want the price of gas coming through that pipeline to be the Russian domestic subsidised price, which really hobbles the commerciality of it. But they're very aware that Putin and his circle have made a lot of money over the year around pipeline construction and laying off the risk of pipeline construction to other countries. So China is playing a hard bargain here, but doing the right thing. Nothing was announced on Siberia 2 pipeline. What was interesting is Putin's national security advisor, Yuri Ushakov, said that something important on energy had been agreed. I get the sense that this might have been around Russia committing to China that they would continue to supply crude oil. This is important given Iranian supply is not in the market, but the quid pro quo is that China will continue to supply refined products back to Russia, given Ukraine's ongoing success in knocking out Russia's refining capacity.